Hey everybody, and welcome back to another fun and exciting video. Section 5 is all about how to set up your drawings to be printed. So in this quick video, I'm going to go into further details about model space and paper space so that you understand the differences between the two. Because knowing their differences is going to help you gain foundational knowledge for when it comes time to actually print. So let's start with model space. This is where you have been drawing throughout this entire time. Think of model space kind of like a workshop. It's where you're actually building your design at its real world size. So walls might be 30 feet long, buildings could be hundreds of feet across, and your entire project has plenty of room to grow. In model space, what you're doing is you're just focusing on creating an accurate drawing. Now let's talk about paper space, and I'm going to show you one of my paper spaces, and this is an example in my template. So paper space is your presentation board. It takes your full-size drawings and it's going to place it onto a sheet of paper at a scale that fits for printing. So this allows clients, instructors, and contractors to clearly read your plans without trying to print an entire building at full size. Can you imagine that size of piece of paper? In paper space, you'll create viewports, you're going to choose drawing scales, you're going to add title blocks, kind of like what you see here, as well as notes. This is how and where the design pros prepare their professional construction documents. So just remember, you build in model space and you present your drawings in paper space. Now, as you can see, you can toggle back and forth between model space and paper space via the tabs located at the bottom left-hand corner of the AutoCAD interface. If you're using the CAD template that I have, then your model and layout tabs look a little bit like this. I've already created templates for my students to use on all their projects. If you don't have this template, then it's probably going to look a little something like this, where it says Model Layout 1 and Layout 2 at the bottom. If you do have a brand new drawing, you are likely going to need to set up your paper spaces, which I will show you how to do that in a future video. But in my university classes, this is the template that we use, and these are the 3 sizes we can print to based on the printers that we have in our facilities. Now, you likely have different printers than my classroom, and therefore you may not be able to print all of these sizes. Paper sizes are a really important aspect in the field of architecture, design, and construction because contractors like to have large-scale sheets that show CAD drawings that are completed by design professionals. That way, with them being extra large, they're easy to read. And this graph here is explaining what the paper sizes are in a bit more detail. Now, the architectural firm that I worked for way back in the day liked to use 30 by 42 sheets. Smaller projects like residential projects can typically use 24 by 36 inch sheets. Anything 18 by 24 and smaller are usually used for things like addendums, which is a fancy term for saying we need to add some drawings to an already completed and signed construction document set. And just in case you don't know, a construction document set is a detailed set of drawings that tells contractors exactly what to build and how everything fits together. So it's kind of like an instruction manual on how to build a building. So each sheet in the set is going to communicate a different part of the construction process to the contractor. One sheet might tell them how to build the walls, another sheet might tell them how to build the ceiling. A building is a complex thing, and sometimes you can have over 100 sheets in a set, depending on what's getting built. Now for my classes, we typically use 11 by 17 to print homework to, so I'm clicking on that tab just so that you can see it. The grayish background is kind of like a tabletop, and that white rectangle you see represents the piece of paper that you're going to be printing on. The paper's just simply sitting on a table, if you want to think of it that way. Every school, architecture firm, interior design office, they have their own paper sizes. So as you gain experience and work with different organizations, you're going to discover that you'll often need to adjust your drawings to match each school or company standards. The lines and text you see are drawn directly on the sheet of paper in paper space. So if I click on some of these lines, you'll see it looks just like lines in AutoCAD. This happens to be text, which I will be teaching you guys in the next few videos. The orange box that you see is actually called a viewport, and it's a tool that we use to act as a window to model space, and it also helps us scale the drawings that we have in model space onto paper space. So it's kind of a smart tool. Now there's a lot of terms I'm throwing out, and I'm sure that this may have some confusion to you, but in the next couple of videos I'm going to explain everything in a bit more detail.